an intense focus on providing a better way to protect, manage, and unlock your data to keep your business running. And there is no one better to describe this incredible journey and historic milestone than our CEO, Anand Eswaran.
Let me first begin by thanking all of you for joining us here today. It is so humbling to see so many of you dialing in. From all of us on Team Veeam, today is about you. Veeam has over 450,000 customers and over 35,000 partners around the world. Our work with each and every one of you has been the catalyst for our innovation over the past 17 years. It has shaped many of the new features and capabilities you'll hear about today. A commitment to constant innovation has been a consistent theme for Veeam since our foundation, and today is no different. It starts with helping our customers and partners. We believe that business continuity today is much harder than it needs to be. Every organization faces increasing cyber threats. The incidents related to ransomware continue to accelerate. IT has to manage a more complex infrastructure and meet the challenges of managing hybrid environments. Now, our own global data protection report found that more than 85% of you have been the victim of a ransomware attack in the past 12 months. 82% of you feel that you have an availability gap between how quickly you need to bring systems back after an outage versus how quickly you can actually do it. And last but not the least, many of you are struggling to keep data transformation projects on track as spending moves to keep your business secure. We all know that data is the very fuel that drives your business. And our job at Veeam is to ensure that you can keep the data safe and secure. And if the worst thing happens, we will make sure that you can recover quickly, easily, and reliably. That's what drives our teams here at Veeam to continue to innovate every day and give you the best technology available. We keep your business running. So what are we announcing today? We are announcing the Veeam Data Platform, a single platform delivering more advanced data security, recovery, and hybrid capabilities than ever before, including monitoring and analytics. The Veeam Data Platform is built on Veeam Backup and Replication V12, which delivers the best, most secure backup and recovery solution on the planet. V12 includes over 500 new features and enhancements, many of which come directly from your work and your feedback with our products. We are adding support, as an example, we are adding support for direct-to-object storage backups, trusted immutability, greater efficiency and security across the hybrid cloud. And we are enabling the fastest response to ransomware attacks. V12 provides best-in-class protection for your business data while enabling rapid recovery from any business continuity issue you have. I know the team is excited to share these and many other capabilities with you. Thank you for the trust you place in us at Veeam. It is something we never take for granted. Before I hand back to Danny, just one last thing. During today's events, you'll hear from many team members across many groups at Veeam. I could not be prouder of their work, their dedication, their commitment, all of which has led to the delivery of version 12. They've come together to bring you the best, most modern, most resilient data protection platform on the planet. And they represent 5,500 employees globally focused on innovation and customer and partner success. So for you, our customers and partners, please know our team has you covered. Danny, back to you and the team.
Thank you, Anand. The thing that most resonates with me is that 85% of organizations faced at least one ransomware attack in the last year. 85%. And that 82% of organizations realize that they have a challenge. And that's why we're here today. We're here today not just to talk about V12, but to talk about something bigger, something more profound, the Veeam Data Platform. Allow me to introduce our Director of Enterprise Product Marketing, Misha Rangel. Misha, can you share with the audience a little bit about what we're doing with the Veeam Data Platform?
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks, Danny. Today, I'm excited to share with you some important updates that will help keep Veeam continue our mission of keeping businesses running with rapid, reliable recovery solutions for your hybrid cloud. But before I talk through our announcements, let's take a minute to talk about some market trends we're seeing. The past years have brought us new IT challenges: a global pandemic, a move to remote working, not to mention the ever-increasing threat of ransomware attacks. One thing is for certain: the challenges that IT organizations face today are just getting more complex. The numbers are staggering. As Anand and Danny mentioned earlier, but I'll say it again because it is so important, 85% of companies have experienced at least one ransomware attack in the past year. Also, companies are maintaining hybrid multi-cloud environments, yet 95% are moderately to extremely concerned about cloud security. And to top things off, data recovery is a painful process. In fact, 82% of companies use manual processes to recover their data after an outage. What we've gotten out of the last few years is a really good list of lessons learned. Companies can recover, and they have recovered, but it's complicated. IT organizations have recovered from outages, data loss, and most likely even ransomware attacks. But the process hasn't been easy. Many times, the teams have experienced sleepless nights working to recover data. 2023 is the year to change that. When we talk to customers over and over again, one thing rings loud and clear: data resilience is harder than it needs to be. IT organizations want to get smarter about the way they recover. Backup and recovery is critical, and it's not enough anymore. Advanced capabilities to monitor, measure, automate, and orchestrate are the next list of priorities for many companies' backup and recovery strategies. And as companies are looking for more sophisticated data protection, they look to Veeam. Many of you turning in already know Veeam Backup and Replication, our flagship offering that delivers best-in-class capabilities to backup and recover data for your cloud, virtual, and physical workloads. But Veeam Backup and Replication is only the beginning of the things Veeam can help your organization with. Veeam also offers proactive monitoring and analytics to help you identify and remediate problems before they become issues. And to top it off, we also offer proven recovery orchestration to give you a fully holistic solution. All of this together makes up the Veeam Data Platform that delivers more advanced data security, data recovery, and hybrid cloud capabilities than ever before. Today, we're announcing a new premium edition of the Veeam Data Platform that offers the ultimate in data protection and recovery capabilities. The premium edition gives your organizations everything you need for business resilience, including backup and recovery, monitoring and alerts, and recovery orchestration. We're also reconfiguring our bundles to make it easier for our customers to choose the right solution that fits their needs. Veeam Data Platform now comes in 3 enterprise-grade editions. There's Premium Edition that gives you access to the full capabilities available with the Veeam Data Platform, including the ability to orchestrate recovery. We're excited that the newest version of Orchestrator has cloud orchestration and many more capabilities built in. Then we have Advanced Edition, which combines VBR with Veeam One to give customers deep, intelligent monitoring and observability to identify and resolve any backup or recovery problems before they become emergencies. And with V12, you'll get new monitoring and visibility capabilities, including immutability reporting and data protection statuses for your multi-cloud. And then there's Foundation Edition if you want to get started with the industry's most complete data protection with VBR. The V12 launch will add more than 500 new features and enhancements to the Foundation Edition. And of course, you can add platform extensions to any of the platform editions, including backup for Kubernetes with Kasten, Veeam Backup for Microsoft 365, and Veeam Backup for Salesforce. If you're ready to get smarter about your company's data resilience strategy, we want to help you get there. There's one more announcement I want to make, but before I do, I want to share a short video featuring one of our customers in the Netherlands, North and East Gelderland. They're responsible for coordinating 56 fire departments and recently faced a ransomware attack that brought their internal systems to a standstill. For this public entity responsible for the safety of their community, a ransomware attack and data disruption could literally be a life or death situation. Let's take a look and see how Veeam helped them in this high-stakes ransomware attack.
We have to rely on our systems because public safety relies on us. We use Veeam because it is very intuitive, it's reliable and fast. I'm Edwin Moraal, I'm the CISO and also the ICT advisor. We are a safety company in the Netherlands and we manage fire departments and also a bit of healthcare. We have 56 fire departments spread over our region. And so if there is an issue like a fire, but also maybe a plane crash on a highway or something, then we come in action and we coordinate the fire department, the police, etc. It's public safety. It's important to be protected because every second counts in our organization. We are in a critical mission. So if we have data to use, to read, it has to respond fast. We have experienced a ransom attack. It's a different kind of attack. We came in a situation that we can manage the fire departments, but our environment for normal operate, email, etc. was down. So we came in a restore process. I Googled Veeam account manager. I called him, explained the issue, and they came to us and they helped us. So if you are not even a customer, they come and they help you. The P&OG is now a lot faster, more reliable. You can restore jobs in some clicks and it is back again. We have a new strategy. We are now on the 3-2-1-1-0 rule. 3 backups on 2 different media and 1 offline and 1 immutable. But the 0 is to restore with 0 faults. So Veeam, in our opinion, is the best product for. The best advice I can give is backup is the holy grail if you want to get out a startup from nothing. So having a good backup solution is very, very important. So that's why we choose Veeam.
This is such a powerful story. Unfortunately, Gelderland is not alone in their struggles with ransomware. But as Edwin mentioned in the video, it wasn't only Veeam technology that helped them recover, it was also our people who helped them restore quickly. Our teams at Veeam are experts to help every step of the way during a ransomware attack. We are so confident that leveraging Veeam solutions and the expertise of our teams will help you be prepared for ransomware. Today, we are announcing a new ransomware recovery warranty. It's a commitment to Veeam customers that in the event of a ransomware attack, Veeam will cover the cost of data recovery, up to $5 million. The Veeam warranty also comes with access to our experts to help ensure you're ready with clean, reliable backups that can be restored in the event of a ransomware attack. Every Veeam ransomware warranty includes advanced onboarding support, quarterly health checks, dedicated support account management, and access to our ransomware SWAT team, and much more. Because let's be honest, a ransomware warranty isn't the end-all be-all solution to your ransomware problem, but it is an important part of your ransomware recovery strategy. Preparation is key when it comes to ransomware, and we aspire to a future where every company has clean, reliable backups so they can recover from ransomware without paying the ransom. So Danny, big announcement. What do you think?
It's impressive. I love the story of Gelderland because it really brings home the impact and criticality of data. What's your favorite part of the Veeam Data Platform?
I mean, my favorite part about this is really the opportunity to highlight our people. And when I see that slide with all of our smiling faces of our team, it just makes me happy.
It's fantastic. I love it. See what I did there? It's Valentine's Day. The focus of consolidating the best of Veeam technology into a single integrated platform, it makes it simple for our customers to purchase, implement, and manage. And it's more than that. The ransomware warranty is really putting our brand and reputation behind our product. We're bringing to market two distinct differentiators here that allow us to stand apart. One, we have the market's largest ecosystem of accredited service providers who are able to help our customers with security best practices. And secondly, this operationalizes one of the best kept secrets at Veeam. We have a dedicated ransomware SWAT team that can help our ecosystem of more than 450,000 customers. But allow me to touch on the technical focus areas for the Veeam Data Platform: data freedom, data security, and data recovery. Almost all of our 500 new features fall into one of these categories. These are the pillars that stand beneath the Veeam Data Platform. The first, of course, is data freedom. We have always had a very intense focus on flexibility and enabling our customers the choice to choose the storage source, the storage target, the cloud, the infrastructure that best suits their business. What might be appropriate in the data center might not be appropriate for the cloud, or it might not even be feasible on the edge. Our focus on data freedom has always been about data protection from any to any. And to touch on just a few of these data freedom features, allow me to introduce my friend, our Senior Vice President of Product Management, Anton Gostev. He's the father of backup and replication. Anton, what are your favorite features in V12 that provide our customers this data freedom?
Thank you, Danny, for this opportunity to share some of my favorite version 12 data freedom features. First, we talk about backup target freedom. I think this was really the last missing piece to the freedom of choice of backup storage. Our lack of support for backing up directly to object storage, and which is what we delivered in version 12. But why are our customers choosing object storage as a backup target in the first place? Well, for on-prem, object storage provides for simplified storage management and added reliability. There is more modern S3 protocol that has built-in data safeguards, and as well, most object storage delivers advanced built-in redundancy. On top of that, there is actually lots of innovation going in that space. For example, Veeam is delivering what we call Smart Object Storage API, allowing vendors to integrate with our backup server and provide better experience for their users. And we actually already have Scality and Object First being version 12 launch partners for these new capabilities. Now, other customers are looking to back up directly to cloud object storage. While this is usually not a great idea, I think, for classic on-prem data center backups, for performance considerations, for additional cost and complexity of achieving the 3-to-1 rule, I believe this new possibility really revolutionizes backups at the edge. So things like protecting your remote office, branch office environments, or protecting even workloads in the public cloud. Next, let's talk about a few features under the data management freedom umbrella. Version 12 introduces what I call policy-like jobs. which bring together the best of both worlds by allowing you to keep the flexibility of job-based management, which we all know and like. And now you can also enjoy scalability and convenience of policy-based management. For example, let me just give you one example. Version 12 allows you to easily move machines from one job to another. And as you do that, the existing backups would actually follow into the new job. So you avoid the new full backup, you avoid the old backup chain abandoned, and all these other nasty things that really complicate the management. Now, the critical component behind many of these new backup data management features in version 12 is the native backup movement agent, which we call vMover. Having this capability available natively became especially important in light of our object storage support. As in object storage, there are no more backup files, which you can just copy and move around freely, as you could with existing repository types. The best part is actually that vMover is block cloning aware, meaning that backups will no longer inflate, like when you move backup files manually today, for example, from XFS or EFS volumes. Moreover, not only vMover preserves these space savings, it even creates them. For example, when you move a backup from NTFS-based repository to XFS repository, we will create the block cloning as you do the move. How cool is that? That's pretty cool, I think. Okay, and finally, another piece of data freedom is, of course, the freedom of workload placement. What do I mean by that? We are finding most of our customers, actually Veeam included, are starting our cloud journey with lifting and shifting their on-prem workloads to cloud infrastructure as a service platform. Protecting cloud VMs with backup agent works, right? We have many customers do that, but they're telling us it's overly complex in terms of job management and especially meeting all the secure network access requirements from backup server to protected machines. This is what we are solving in version 12 with what we call cloud integrated agents for AWS and Azure. It's a new innovation not available from any other vendor. So how cloud integrated agents are different from what we have today in version 11? Well, first, the discovery of new workloads and automatic installation of backup agents is actually done using native cloud APIs without requiring a direct network connection from backup server to protected machine. It really simplifies it a lot. Now, just like today, you can discover and manage protection of multiple on-premise virtual machines by specifying containers and tags, as an example. You can now create protection group for cloud VMs using the identical public cloud management constructs. To give you an example, the AWS EC2 instance tags is one of the opportunities to manage your job with. And finally, when backing up those cloud VMs, you can back them up directly to object storage in the same cloud, right? Both providing you better performance and really avoiding the backup traffic traversing the internet, which is costly because of egress charges, right? So yeah, these are just some examples of what we're doing in version 12 to free up you and your data. Back to you, Danny.
Thank you, Anton. I love your concept of workload placement freedom. And it's been interesting to observe object storage emerging as a tier 1 storage class, enabling new flexibility and cost optimization without sacrificing performance. And it's truly this data freedom that enables the agility demanded by our customers. And I have the distinct privilege of having one of these customers with me here today, the Chief Information Security Officer and Senior Vice President of Technology Operations at Ciox Health, Robbie Hudek. How are you?
I'm great, Danny. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, thank you for joining us. Now, I was just wondering if you could share with the audience a little bit about the criticality of the data that you're collecting, as well as the size of the data you're collecting.
Absolutely. So today we manage many medical records for many hospitals, providers, and payers across the U.S. We probably have over hundreds of thousands of medical records. And the criticality of that data for a hospital to be able to grab a hold of those medical records is, when an ambulance pulls in the hospital, is very, very critical. So you can imagine our customers and what they need from us and the criticality of it. So making sure that our systems are up and available at all given times is really important.
That is impressive, and I know that the scale of that, it's hundreds of terabytes, am I right?
It is. We have hundreds of terabytes of data with about, we average about 500 terabytes of Veeam backup today.
That is fantastic, and thank you for the business. Can you share with the audience a little bit about the design and architecture of what you have in place?
Absolutely. So we designed ours, we're across 3 different data centers with Azure and AWS and a colo. And across that, we replicate our Azure environment into our AWS environment, our AWS into Azure, and then our colo goes into the AWS environment. We spend less than $20K a month on our immutable storage for all of these backups and be able to recover from ransomware. So having that capability allows us to move from any data center, bring it back up, and get our customers back online quickly.
Well, I like that you've obviously driven the cost down and that you're using all of these different infrastructures together. Why is that data freedom so important to SCIOX Health?
Well, obviously, we want the ability to move our data wherever we want to move it. So if we expand into Azure West or AWS West, however we're doing it, we want that flexibility. In fact, we recently just shut down a data center and used our Veeam software to an immutable storage, and then we recovered it to the colo, and we now shut down that data center. So great process, a few lessons learned that we can implement to other things, but absolutely very useful in shutting down our data center.
That's fantastic. And what do you get excited about that data freedom agility? When you're looking forward, what do you get excited about?
The opportunity to grow our business and the opportunity that we can get the data closer to our customers by utilizing other data centers and be able to share across.
Well, the sheer size and scale and criticality of what you're doing is so impressive, and kudos to you and your team for helping to manage this at such an effective price point. Thank you for joining us here today, Robbie.
Thank you for having me.
The greatest threat to our data systems today is, without question, cyber threats or cyber attacks. And while you may not realize it, we've been thinking about this for more than 5 years here at Veeam. We've been consistently adding new features like encryption of backups within the repositories, or immutability of tiered data into object storage, hardened Linux repositories, insider protection for our Veeam Cloud service providers, and secure restore with the ability to scan the data immediately prior to recovery so you don't reintroduce malware to the environment. The list goes on and on. We've been witnessing the rapid expansion and intersection of data protection with data security, especially with the exponential growth of ransomware and data wipers. The Veeam Data Platform is designed to work with our ecosystem of partners like Symantec, ESET, Windows Defender, or really any third-party security company that enables an API or command line integration. But it's not sufficient to simply secure the data at rest or to comprehensively test it before you bring it back online. We are committed to continuously innovating and iterating on the security front with each subsequent release. And in V12, we've not only brought immutability to all of the data sources, but we're introducing multi-factor authentication and support for Kerberos-only environments and IPv6 environments. So to share some of the exciting new capabilities in version 12, I want to bring back onto stage our SVP of Product Management, Anton Gostev. Anton, what's new in V12 that our audience and the people that are watching this should be excited about?
So Danny has just covered all the new security features of the platform itself. But whether or not you implement them, all of them in your environment, or maybe some of them, there is one thing every single customer should have, and that is have at least one copy of backups being immutable. And version 12 makes it super easy. First, version 12 delivers immutability options for all workloads we support. Unlike good old image level backups, our new features, were not immediately compatible with immutability technologies we have. And version 12 addresses this gap by extending immutable backup storage options to almost all other workloads. Actually, all other workloads. NAS backup, standalone agents, database transaction log backups, enterprise application plugins, cloud native backups for AWS and Azure. They all have immutable backup options now. So this is great news for protecting your workloads. Next, we've enhanced our hardened repository to make it more accessible and easier to use, right? To start, we actually made hardened repository much more prominent, right? This is now a dedicated repository type, its own configuration wizard that makes sure you configure it securely and correctly, and so on. But more importantly, and that was the top feedback in version 11, that following version 12 upgrade, SSH server will no longer be required for updating your hardened repository components in future. So there was a big feedback that people didn't want to go physically into the data center to hit the physical console, temporarily enable SSH server and do the upgrade, right? Now we can do the upgrade of components securely while we keep the SSH server disabled. So this is a really great enhancement. Next, let's talk about how we expand our immutability options in object storage. While we supported immutable backup for S3 compatible object storage for a while now, version 12 adds support for immutability also on Microsoft Azure blob storage. And so that's something I know many people who are watching this have been really waiting for. And finally, on the enterprise storage side, V12 also integrates natively with HPE Store 1's immutability capabilities. So as you can see with version 12, we give you lots of immutable storage options to choose from. If only we could convince everyone immutability is no longer an optional fit in 2023, right, Danny?
We can only wish, Anton. Customers should consider immutability for both their data on-prem and in the cloud as mandatory, not optional. I also like the multi-factor authentication and increasing the controls around network authentication and access. Those are big steps forward. But it's also true that having a partner that understands the complexities of cyber resilience and how to implement data security is a critical requirement. And we do that with a broad ecosystem of partners, such as Kyndryl. Please join me in welcoming the portfolio leader for cyber resilience at Kyndryl, Cyrus Nilchin. Cyrus, welcome.
Thank you. Thank you, Danny.
Maybe you can just briefly share with the audience a little bit about Kyndryl and why data security is so important.
Absolutely. So we are a technology infrastructure services provider that was created from the spin-off of IBM's infrastructure services business. We globally serve 4,000 customers, 75% of the Fortune 100, 50% of the Fortune 500. We design, build, manage, and modernize mission-critical technology systems that the world depends on every day.
That's fantastic. Now, is technology enough alone to enable cyber resilience?
Absolutely not. Absolutely not. People and processes are very important. People, because in the wake of an attack, people are nervous, they're making mistakes. They need technologies like automation and orchestration in order to semi-automate the recovery of their mission-critical systems. And business processes, of course. Business processes need to be recovered end to end.
That's fantastic. And maybe you can share with the audience, you don't have to name the customer, but do you have any customer examples to talk about cyber resilience and what you've done with them?
Yeah, one of our recent customers is a government agency that had very stringent requirements. So specific RTO and RPO requirements. RTO had to be about an hour recovery time. RPO had to be 15 minutes back to the last good copy. And we built a service, a fully managed service by Kyndryl with Veeam Backup and Replication as the underlying technology. We used Veeam Backup and Replication version 11. CDP was included in there. And we also are running biweekly tests. So we are constantly testing what would happen if a cyber attack would strike. We're protecting hundreds of VMs, primarily tier 1 applications, RTO 15 minutes, RTO 1 hour. And key here for the customer was, as they had an existing backup implementation there, so their backup was solid, but they realized that they need more than just a backup. So Veeam is providing backup and DR and cyber all in one solution. And that gave us the edge here, which helped us to add that very critical cyber component into their existing environment.
I love hearing those stories because it is more than technologies. It's partnerships between Veeam and Kyndryl. And I'm sure you have some amazing stories to share from your portfolio. I actually just read a book called This Is How the World Will End, and some really interesting stories in there. But thank you for joining us, Cyrus. Pleasure to have you here.
Thank you.
Veeam has always been known not for backup, but for data recovery. Veeam literally pioneered and patented instant recovery more than a decade ago, and it resulted in an entire market shift and realization that more was possible. But we didn't stop there. We introduced instant recovery for databases, or mass recovery of hundreds and thousands of VMs simultaneously. Ask me sometime about asynchronous I/O and prefetch block look-ahead and smart memory management. It gets me excited. But we continue to do this with the Veeam Data Platform. In our Veeam Recovery Orchestrator product, you can set the RPO and the recovery time objective and then measure your ongoing compliance with business continuity and recovery objectives. While backup is important, it's the data recovery that matters when you're impacted by a cyber event or deleted data or hardware failure. Fast, secure, proven data recovery is the key to keeping business running. In V12, we've introduced so many features and capabilities like Clean DR, which automatically iterates sequentially back through your backups to find the last known good copy, or new cloud-optimized agents that are specifically designed for the cloud environment. And we have comprehensive integration with all the components of the Veeam Data Platform, so you can do instant recovery of cloud instances or containers from the Veeam Data Platform. But let's turn it back over to our friend, the SVP of Product Management, Anton Gostev, to go a little deeper on some of these new and innovative recovery options coming in V12. Anton?
That's right, Danny. I know that people spend a lot of time talking about backup, but one of the things we consistently focus on in R&D is how to ensure the very best data recovery. Beginning with instant VM recovery, we pioneered recovery models others can only hope to imitate. And we keep enhancing these capabilities in every release, including version 12. So first, in version 12, we're really doubling down on file-level recovery from image-level backups. For example, you can now compare the selected restore point with a production machine to easily identify all changed and deleted items, and then quickly initiate rollback by restoring changed items only, which is super useful following a ransomware attack, as you can imagine. Next, in version 12, you can restore permissions only, such as following an admin error who accidentally resets permissions on a whole bunch of files and folders. So with version 12, you can restore those permissions only without having to restore the files and folders content. And finally, by popular demand, in version 12, we added the ability to restore directly to another machine. So this has always been possible with some workarounds, but with version 12, you just pick any target machine and restore files there. Next, our big focus area with version 12 is PostgreSQL. Why? It's because many customers are adopting it these days, including Veeam ourselves, with our support for PostgreSQL as a Veeam Backup Replication configuration database in version 12. So to accompany this, we're delivering advanced PostgreSQL backup and recovery capabilities, which include transaction log backup for point-in-time PostgreSQL instance recovery, as well as new Veeam Explorer for PostgreSQL with even more advanced restore capabilities. For example, the ability to instantly publish a database for dev test. Next, in version 12, we're taking our NAS protection capabilities to the next level with the instant file share recovery directly from backup. enabling your end users to continue working with an emulated file share normally, including modifying the existing files and even creating new ones. This enables your business to get back to work in seconds following a catastrophic loss of production NAS. But what's good about such fast recovery of your latest backup after ransomware attack, if you're basically just getting restoring malware back to your environment, this is where the new CleanDR feature of Veeam Recovery Orchestrator version 6 comes into play, which orchestrates malware scans leveraging secure restore capabilities of Veeam Backup Replication. So do check that out once version 6 is generally available. So these were just some of my favorite version 12 features. And obviously, this is just a small portion of everything we deliver in version 12. I'm really excited about this release. What about you, Danny?
Thank you, Anton. I think my favorite feature is instant recovery to NAS. So to be clear, we now have instant recovery for virtual machines, for applications, for databases, for NAS, and we provide disaster recovery not only across data centers, but also to the cloud. And I have to say that I'm very impressed with what the product management and engineering teams have delivered to market. Thank you for all of your efforts. But again, technology for the sake of technology is not always sufficient. It doesn't meet the market need. And I think we really need to understand how the Veeam Data Platform is used IRL, in the real world. And so I am extremely delighted to have with us here today the CIO, Chief Information Officer from the City of Fort Lauderdale, Tamika McKay. Tamika, welcome.
Thank you.
So maybe we can start by just understanding what you're most proud of with the City of Fort Lauderdale.
Well, what I'm most proud of is the journey that we've started on changing the culture. Traditionally, we worked in a very siloed environment and worked on different islands. And what I've implemented in my role is the importance of building the partnership with the business units, promoting collaboration, and promoting innovation.
That's fantastic. I always like to say technology is easy, culture is really hard. And so I know previously in your career you've been impacted by ransomware and have had to recover data. How important is data recovery for the City of Fort Lauderdale?
Data recovery is paramount. With the exception of human capital, data is one of the most important assets of any organization. In fact, I like to think of protecting data similar to the Hippocratic oath that a doctor would take, to do no harm. We must always protect the data because at the end of the day, if we don't have data, we can't protect and serve. We can't produce permits. We can't pay contractors. So therefore, that is one of the most important service deliveries of our organization.
Makes it very real when you put it in the context of permits and services that you're delivering. So what are the projects that you've implemented that help in that effort?
So one of the projects that we have for our fiscal year 23 initiative is centralizing, standardizing, and modernizing our backup and disaster recovery strategy. Formally, today we have 2 separate systems and silos backing up the data, different processes, different systems, different platforms. The goal is to centralize it to one platform and to take advantage of the technology to increase efficiency and to expand the service level. We also want to implement self-service for our businesses so that if they need to recover a file, they don't necessarily need to wait for the service desk. They have that option of going in and recovering and restoring files to their liking. And then most importantly is the protection against ransomware. We all know how ransomware has impacted our industry, and being able to have immutable backups and backups that are protected and secured is, again, one of those very important services that we're responsible for delivering.
Well, I like the self-service because one of the things that does, of course, is drive down the costs for the City of Fort Lauderdale as well. But I'm going to steal that statement: centralization, modernization, and standardization across the organization. Well, thank you very much for being with us here, Tamika. It's been a pleasure to have you, and we look forward to hearing more great things about the City of Fort Lauderdale.
Thank you.
So a very special thank you to Ciox Health, to Kyndryl, to the City of Fort Lauderdale. And you have heard from Anton, from Robbie, from Cyrus, from to Mika about how data freedom, data security, and data recovery are underpinning the Veeam Data Platform and the V12 release. But you know what? I know this audience. I know that you, like me, want to see these features and capabilities in action. No canned demos or recording. You want to see it live, and that is how we roll. So allow me to introduce our Senior Director of Product Strategy, Rick Vanover, and Global Technologist, Emily Tellez, to show you the magic of Valentine's Day 2023.
Thank you, Danny. So Rick and I are so excited to be here to be able to showcase some of the many features that are coming with the new version 12 platform. So I'm sure some of you already know, probably the most highly anticipated or talked about feature is backing up direct to object storage. So what does that mean? Well, it means taking our backups, whether we want to do that backup to an on-premise object storage, or if we want to write that to an S3 object storage provider, we have multiple options to be able to choose from. So if we take a look inside of the demo, you'll see that we already have a few different object storage providers that have already been added in here. So it's as simple as just going into our Home tab, creating a backup job, and as you see, I have one already pre-created. We select our virtual machines that we need to protect, and then we can hit the drop-down menu and be able to select those backup targets that we want to be able to back up to directly. Now, for those of you that are maybe running version 11 and are now looking at taking advantage of this feature, but you're already using a simple repository or some other type of backup target, we made it very easy for you to be able to migrate that data from one storage target to the next. And it starts with Veeam Mover. So here, once our backups are already backed up, we can just simply select one, right-click, and here you'll see this option to automatically move a backup, and we can move that backup and write it to that new object storage target, and then simply go ahead and have the backup pick up from where it left off. We actually had a storage alliance partner that used this most recently. As they were doing some testing for us, they simply misconfigured their backup job, writing it to the wrong storage array. They're able to leverage the move backup feature, move it to the correct storage array, didn't have to delete those backups and didn't have to start from scratch. So a lot of customers are going to be able to take advantage of this new feature and get their backups writing directly to object storage. But the magic doesn't stop there. So there's some great under the hood APIs that are happening with direct to object. And Rick, I'm going to let you go ahead and take it over from there.
Yeah, cheers, Emily. And this is my 13th year at Veeam, and the amount of innovation in this release is absolutely incredible. And I want to jump in right on the very same backup job that Emily was talking about. And on this log entry, the very first thing it tells me is that the S3 protocol extension is supported by the target repository. This tells me right away that this backup job is going to leverage the Smart Object Storage API, which we've made available to a number of partners to really get the best combination of performance, data locality, node awareness, all kinds of great stuff specific for the storage. This is going to be a big deal in the market. And when we look at the different repositories, and those of you with a keen eye, notice that some of these in the list here, they actually even say this, S3 integrated. That's because that means it's supported for the Smart Object Storage API, as well as the hyperscale object storage resources, on-premises object storage, so many storage options. But I want to draw your attention to one of the technologies I've really liked that came out in version 11, the Linux Veeam Hardened Repository. So this is an outstanding way that you can have immutable file attributes on a Linux file system with your Veeam backups with no additional Veeam cost. We've really simplified the wizard to create this. So let me go through the properties. And the part that matters is right here. Those of you who have used it before, you might remember that this option of making recent backups immutable, in this example I have it for 7 days, that was a checkbox. It's mandatory now. And then the other kind of nice bonus that comes with this particular implementation is the fast clone. So if you're using the XFS file system, you can have a fast cloning of disk manipulation tasks on the repository that will give you a no-cost storage efficiency technique. It's not deduplication, but it prevents duplication. Think about that. It's great, and there's no additional Veeam cost.
So all of that being said, there's so much into this release from a storage standpoint. We talked a little bit about immutability, the Veeam hardened repository, but the security conversation goes beyond the storage, doesn't it, Emily?
Yes, it does. So when we start talking about security, that was top of mind for this version 12 release, but I'm sure it is a #1 priority for all customers out there, especially when we want to be cyber resilient when it comes to any type of malicious threat. And that starts with access. Having access to your main application that's going to help you when you need it the most is #1 important thing. So with Veeam Backup and Replication version 12, we added multi-factor authentication. So you could see here I was logged out of the backup server. I'm going to pull my phone out here. And I'm just going to go ahead and plug in the code so that way I could get back into it.
Now that is a one-time password code. This implementation doesn't require internet access, so if you have Veeam deployments that are isolated networks not connected to the internet, this works there as well.
Correct. And once we're back in, the other piece is that we didn't stop security with just multi-factor authentication. We also added in support for Kerberos. We also have support for group managed service accounts. So if you're leveraging the application-aware image processing for your backups with Veeam, you can now take advantage of GMSA and have those accounts configured for that specific process. And now recovery is going to be your best line of defense when it comes to any malicious threat. And we want to make sure that recovery is always going to be the best and fast option for all of your end users, including self-service restores. So with version 12, you can actually create recovery tokens, assign those to your users, and your users can perform their own recoveries of a bare metal restore for Windows agents. So just some additional recovery enhancements that we're going to see with the new platform. But recoveries don't stop there. PostgreSQL, we added in that functionality to not just back up PostgreSQL databases, but also give you flexibility to do granular restores. So I have an example here of a PostgreSQL database that I'm already backing up. I can go ahead and select that backup, go to Restore Application Items, and you'll see the option for PostgreSQL instance. Once that's loaded, you see your restore points that are going to be available to you. You can give it your reason. Once we hit browse, this is going to populate that backup for me. I'm going to see all of my databases that are going to be situated here. And if I highlight this actual server, I could choose to restore my instances, either restore to the latest state, or I can restore to another server. But Postgres isn't just getting the love when it comes to recoveries. Tell us a little bit more about what else we're doing with PostgreSQL.
Yeah, PostgreSQL, enterprise apps, that conversation has got a really big upgrade as we look at version 12. So what am I looking at here? This is a database manager where I have a database called Veeam Backup inside of a Postgres database server. So this means that default installations of V12 can go on Postgres. You still have the option during the install, but it actually paves the way for a lot of scalability. The default installations, if you would just download Veeam and do an install, there was a ceiling to what you could do from one console. Now you could do an external database to get around that, but this is really paving the way for more scalability. Speaking of scalability, our service providers are going to be really happy for this one right here. What I'm looking at here is a CDP proxy, a continuous data protection proxy. And those of you who have ever deployed one of the things that people have always wanted was the ability to do that on Linux. And so I'm looking at a Linux file system here. So with version 12, we can deploy CDP proxies on Linux. I know there are tons of cloud service providers by Veeam around the world that have been asking for this. And this will be a great way that they can scale their deployments, but also leverage CDP and service provider offerings. This is good stuff. Now, Emily started with Postgres, and I talked a little bit about the Linux and the scale, but the enterprise app story carries on. SQL plugin is in the mix now. That's great, a native plugin, but also Oracle and SAP plugins have what's called an application group, which actually functions a lot like a protection group in agents. So enterprise apps are falling into this great management offering, and there's so much more going on with V12, but tick-tock, I'm watching the clock. What about the cloud, Emily?
There's so much going on with the cloud. So you mentioned Veeam Service Provider Console, so let's talk a little bit about that. That is out today, so you have access to go ahead and do a deployment or do an upgrade of the Veeam Backup and Replication Server for version 12. But what's soon to come is with our public cloud marketplace offerings, you can actually start deploying those for Azure and AWS. So those are going to be some really exciting features that are soon to come shortly. But since we're talking about public cloud, let's talk a little bit about customers, and maybe you're just starting out with the public cloud, or you're in a hybrid cloud journey, or maybe you're looking at data protection when it comes to limiting the amount of permissions and to those who may have access to those marketplace or to those public cloud workloads. So we added on the additional capability with version 12 of public cloud agents. They're going to be fully integrated into Veeam Backup and Replication, and they're so easy to configure. So here you'll see inside of Veeam Backup and Replication, I have highlighted our physical infrastructure, and we can actually create a protection group. This protection group is going to protect my workloads in both my AWS subscription as well as my Azure subscription. So here I can create this group. It'll go ahead and auto-discover those workloads that I want to have an agent installed on. And then from there, I can create a backup job to start protecting those workloads as they sit inside of those subscriptions. So once we've created that protection group, I have a job that's been configured. So you could see my Azure Cloud agents with a few of my machines that are currently being backed up. And I can take those backups and I can recover them back to the original location, or I can even bring those backups back down on-premise, convert those to virtual machines, or do whatever I really like with them. But I would be remiss to not talk about the ability to be able to include these public cloud integrated agents with Veeam Recovery Orchestrator. So this was a huge data platform release. So we're talking Veeam 1, Veeam Backup and Replication, and Veeam Recovery Orchestrator. So with these new cloud agents, I can include them into an orchestration plan, have those backups tested and verified, so that way I know what my RPOs and RTOs are going to be when it comes to being able to recover those workloads, especially if we're bringing them back down on-prem.
Outstanding, Emily. There's so much to V12. This platform release is massive, and I want to draw everyone's attention to the Veeam Community Hub at community.veeam.com. Go visit with Alfred, and you can get some really good information about V12. We got the practical upgrade guide, and we also have the News Hub sharing all the information about V12. Danny, this is a lot. Bring it home for us.
Well, what can I say? Boom! Brilliant, outstanding, truly Valentine's Day, magic and love. Better than chocolates or roses. Just don't tell my wife. Veeam has not strayed from our focus on delivering technology innovation and delighting our customers. The Veeam Data Platform has been designed, engineered, and architected to deliver the outcomes that your business demands. It's not just the more than 500 new capabilities we're delivering in our V12 launch. It's not just the redesigned platform with 3 powerful additions that align with your organization. It's the Veeam commitment to you that we will partner with you to keep your business running. We provide you with the resiliency through a powerful platform that provides data security, data freedom, and data recovery for your hybrid cloud. And of course, we're not stopping here. We're about to drop version 7 of our Veeam Backup for Microsoft 365 product that allows self-service recovery of everything from Exchange emails to Microsoft Teams messages. It allows copying of backups to any S3 compatible object storage. And in the theme of data security, we do that with immutability. Also, we're integrating that Veeam Backup for Microsoft 365 product into the Veeam Data Platform. Or if you're consuming this from a Veeam cloud service provider, we've integrated this into the Veeam Service Provider Console. As Tamika said, centralization, standardization, and modernization of your data protection needs. I also want to invite you to join us in Miami for VeeamON 2023 as we continue the conversation and to share our vision for a modern data platform. You can be sure that we will have many more new things to announce and to demonstrate. And who doesn't like Miami in May? And of course, if you can't attend in person, you can attend virtually as well. I hope to see you there. Thank you for your partnership and trust in Veeam along this journey. Happy Valentine's Day, and thank you for joining us and allowing us to share a little bit of this love with you.